The BBC.
Northampton scrum half Alex Mitchell has been called up to the England squad ahead of their final Six Nations game against Italy on Saturday. It's after Gloucester's Willie Hines injured his leg in training. Ben Youngs, though, is expected to win his 100th cap at 9. Meanwhile, British and Irish Lions head coach Warren Gatland says he's hopeful the Lions and Premiership Rugby can have positive discussions about making English players available for next summer's warm-up test against Japan. The match in June is outside the international window, and Gatland says it could put England players at a disadvantage in making the South Africa tour.
If you end up with a situation where you don't have English players available to you for a couple of weeks and you end up with a 50-50 call and you're not quite sure about one player of another player and one player is available to you for 2 weeks of preparation and another one isn't, that may be the difference between someone getting selected and someone not being selected.
Following the cancellations of 2 Super League games today, Leeds-Wakefield on Thursday will go ahead as planned. That's according to head coach Richard Agar. However, 4 Leeds players have been stood down through track and trace following the 12 positive COVID-19 cases at Castleford. Leeds beat Castleford on Monday. Castleford's match with Huddersfield is off as a result. The Giants will now play Warrington on Friday. That's after Warrington's match with Salford was also called off. Have you kept up yet? It's because Salford only have 13 fit players. Here's the Salford Red Devils Director of Rugby and Operations, Ian Blease.
All clubs are having a real good dig at this, but when you see the players suffering like they are doing at the moment, and anyone who's played the game knows what it feels like to get out of bed in the morning after a Super League game. It's not the pleasant of experiences. Rugby league people are tough, and the exec and the governing body of the RFL will get together and work out how we can get towards the back end of this season, I'm sure, with the grand final coming.
Manchester United say they have modified Old Trafford to accommodate 23,500 socially distant spectators. The club announced last week that playing behind closed doors has seen them lose £70 million in expected revenue. There'll be no fans at Old Trafford tonight, though, when United take on last season's Champions League semi-finalists RB Leipzig. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been impressed with his counterpart Julian Nagelsmann.
You have a young coach, very proactive coach, very interesting coach to watch. Who's very adaptable and with players who've got high energy, high tempo. All in all, they've been very interesting to follow the last few years.
There's commentary on 5 Live. Chelsea have face Krasnodar in Russia, at 5-6 this evening. We'll bring you updates of that throughout Drive. And in the IPL, Royal Challengers Bangalore were put into bats by the Mumbai Indians. How are they getting on, Henry Moran?
Yeah, big game this for both sides. The winner will be virtually assured of a place in the playoffs. And despite a good start, Royal Challengers Bangalore have just struggled a little bit towards the back end of their innings. They were 131 for 2. They tumbled to 164 for 6 as the final ball of the innings is bowled. Jasprit Bumrah, the Indian international, has been outstanding. 3 wickets for 14 runs from his 4 overs. And the target for Mumbai Indians will be 165 for the win.
You can head to the BBC Sounds app to listen on 5 Live Sports Extra. That's the latest from BBC Sport.
BBC Sport.